keep quiet, I'm talking to someone. But I just knew, like, you know, when
yeah. And
as a guy,
usually when you know, you like, it's
bro,
facts.
and as a guy, the knowing is very hard because me, I never even know because I'm not checking. I'm too busy doing my own shit.
So for you to know,
So
it means
like,
it's come to you. Like,
it has come to me, and I was like, you know what? Man, that pussy too fire.
I'm like, you know what? It's cool. I'm just gonna turn it.
I have one to confess, and it's just because this guy's hair just brought up a memory. What up, people? It's your favorite podcast man back again with another one. I'm Michael Scenario.
And I'm Mura Welcome.
And we got a special guest as usual, and this one's going to be special. This is a good friend of ours. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, let the people know who you are and what you do.
Yo, my people. TeeZee. Native is going.
If you know Odumodu, you definitely know this man. If you know Native, you know this man. Yeah. And even beforehand, DRB.
Exactly.
You tried to.
Well, we'll get to it. I mean, there's a lot for us to unfold today.
Welcome to Menisms, as we say. Of course, to all of you that are watching, make sure you subscribe to all our audio platforms. Make sure you subscribe to Menisms channel. And again, thank you guys for supporting us. Episode 55, like we've tried. But of course, we're going to start off with our questions from the audience. So the way we usually start is we read the comments or questions, and then we just discuss it, and then we'll go into it.
Okay, sick.
So yeah.
All right, so there's no name on this one. So this says, hello guys, how are you? I apologize, this may be really long. It is really long. All right, so it goes, I have been with my guy for 9 months, and we have a 9-year age gap. We met in January at a time when I had just decided I needed at least a year break from your gender. Okay. When he texted me on IG the first time, I only replied out of courtesy and curiosity to know who this person was because he did not have anything on his profile at the time. And we somehow got along really well. A month later, we started dating. A month later? Physically, he's the total opposite of the kind of guy I'd normally like, but he was the sweetest and kindest person I had ever met. And I eventually fell completely for him after 1 month. Okay? The whole honeymoon phase was really nice. 6 months later, he started acting weird towards me. He would not pick my calls, and when we eventually talk, he would not make any reference to the missed calls. I am very scared of people generally, so I always try to avoid any form of conflict. So it took me a while to talk to him about it. He apologized and summed up that he just was really busy. But it did not change. But it did not change, yeah. One of the weekends I spent in his place, I saw he was talking to new babes on his IG, but I did not talk about it at all because it wasn't anything serious. And I know guys will be guys. Plus, I eventually moved past it. I hate complaints because I hate to feel like I'm bugging someone. So I try my best to never complain. But at this point, I feel like he gets some sort of high from me nagging. I have tried to talk to him and understand what's going on, but he keeps shutting me out. And I'm very tired of how badly he has started to treat me. I have asked him severally if I did something wrong, or he doesn't want me anymore, or there's someone else he likes now. This is someone I really love and respect. I just want to ask you guys from a guy's perspective, what do you think is going on with him? And do you think I should just break up with him and move on with my life? P.S. We haven't seen in almost 2 months.
My guy is single.
Because I had to move to my parents' place in another state for a while for personal reasons. But I tried to talk to him every day.
He's single.
I'm sorry, but that doesn't even sound like... It sounds like she's in a relationship with herself.
That's what I'm saying. He's single. My guy, 9-year age gap already. That's already 1. 2, you see that you are accepting all these things. So at the same time, it's like, as you're accepting it, you think us two as guys, also our brain's not going to say, if she allows this, let me do this next. Let me do this next. And it's now 9 years older than you. Sweetheart, you're by yourself.
So, you know, I think a part of it has to do with the fact that, I mean, I don't know what age she is, because I feel like the age she is, regardless of the age gap, is very determinant as well. Because a 9-year age gap could be 25 and 34. Yeah. You get. But then it could also be 20 and 29. Yeah. True. A 29-year age gap difference and that age dynamic is a very different kind of relationship than 25, 34 or than 26, 35. Yeah. Because at that point, the woman knows that she's trying to define boundaries.
So, I mean, to be honest, like they say, age is just a number. But my advice to her would just be, look, you are the younger one. You have a lot of life ahead of you. So move on. Like, I think a lot of people were scared to move on. Were scared to, especially at that young age. It's like, why are you putting your whole life into one person's hand? Like, and I'm sure you're a pretty girl too. So trust me, there's other men too that are ready to do what that guy's doing plus more.
Yeah.
That's my advice to you, Sha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she. So again, from the premise of everything, she sounded like, actually, you know what? She didn't even give herself the break she said she wanted from our agenda, right? Because she said she wanted to take a break off, right?
Oh yeah, it's true. That's
And so 1 month later, she was already talking to this guy. So I feel like she didn't even allow herself know what she wants from a guy, and so she let the charming parts really, get her feet.
Can I
swept
even
off.
switch it for you guys now to
Yeah.
switch the rules?
Okay.
For us now, have you guys ever dated somebody that's older than you, like a big age gap, like 9 years, or
I have.
I would, of course.
What do you mean?
That's
of
a
course.
Have you?
Not dated, but been with. Yeah.
Right.
9. What's the oldest?
It's 9.
is that important information for this podcast?
I'll say my own.
So I think the oldest. You mean like what's the largest age gap I've
Yeah.
had? 16 years.
You're a gigolo.
This is a long time
I'm
ago.
trying to process.
Long
I'm
time
even
ago.
trying to process.
I like that.
Long time ago.
Mature.
16. All right.
Long time
What
ago.
about you?
Maybe it was like 7, 8.
7, 8 years.
Mine will be if I'm 31 now. She's older than me by 8 years. So yeah,
About
8.
30 years.
8.
40, I was like,
Okay, so about 7, 8 average.
And even that dynamic, let me ask you guys on that same topic now. How was that dynamic? Because, for us, especially when we're younger, I'm sure all of us had that face like, oh, I can't wait till I get these older guys. And even now, sometimes you may still have it,
may
but
still-
when you're younger, there was a bigger excitement.
Yeah.
And then it's like, when you finally do it, how was that? First off, how was the dynamic leading up to it? And then after, once you finally got with the woman and all that, how was it after? Like, how did you feel after?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Anyone?
All right, okay. So definitely there was some sort of fulfillment, right? Because I mean, I have this woman, I won't say where I want her, but technically yes, right? And it was nice in the beginning, but the truth is, you guys will be in different stages of life. Like, what you both want from life at that point will be very different, right?
16.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
can really be fun.
even though I was mature for my age at the time, I mean, I was still just starting off my life, right? And so there were so many things I couldn't satisfy her on based on her life requirement, like what she would want from life at that stage, right? And I guess it also started off as her just like, maybe ticking off a fantasy of hers, but it turned to, being able to confide in me more than she would her peers.
Yeah.
Maybe just with the circle of people that she was, finding herself surrounded by. And so it got stressful. I think that's the summary of it. It got stressful after a while because I couldn't satisfy her with what she wanted,
Fair,
which was
respect.
more than what I could give, right? And so she just had to cut it off, I mean, naturally, I'm a younger guy. Don't cut me off. I still want more of this,
Yeah,
so.
And that's
but she had to be
when
the
they
one
cut
to,
you off, there's no going back.
There's no going. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no.
What
Because
about you?
can't-
Yeah, and my own too was interesting because obviously, like I said, we go through that phase where you really want that, then that's what you now end up attracting. So you have the situations where that happened quite a bit, but the
Right.
one specific one that I don't say we dated, but I took her more serious than anyone else that was that age. I definitely treated her like I don't send shit. I had to just put her on some young nigga piece, just like
Damn.
I'm young, wild, ignorant. Like you're here because you want to be here, so I can't treat you like I would treat my babes that were my age or my smallies.
Right.
I'll treat you like you're beautiful, you're sexy, but
But we know that it can't be more than
as
this.
in, it can't be more like bruh.
So wait, none of you have ever had that feeling like, damn, I could actually start something more.
No.
Maybe,
no.
okay, maybe.
Not with one that was in the 16-year age gap. Maybe someone
How?
that was,
Even that one, your how? Like even if I won't question you, how?
But I have with someone who was I think 3-4 years older than I am.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah,
Which was still not bad because at that again stages of life we're both still in similar stages where if they're in the hustling stage, I'm still around my hustling stage too. If they are kind of like getting to that, we're building something stage, I'm also in my building something. So we were in similar stages of life that we could relate on several things, and so conversations were not so outside the box from each other, right? As opposed to if somebody was so much older or so much younger, in which case, bro, what we're talking about, we might have similarities in conversation, but the general conversation will be very different.
There's two scenarios I've had. There's one in Niger. She cut me off and he pained me for it. It took me a good 2 years to get over that thing. I ain't gonna lie to you. Because everything was going so well. She baddie. She works her own businesses in Niger, had her own place in Lekki. I used to just go to the apartment every time. I remember even every time I enter her house, she want a drink. She'll bring it in a tray.
Yep. That's the same exact thing. That was so fire. That's my
Yes.
You too,
mature hands.
Then even too, when she had like her weed too, the way she would bring it in her box and all that. Me, I'll just be going through my pockets like, oh wait, hold on, I have one paper here. And so everything was going well for a while, but it was when those certain conversations started happening like later on down the line, like, can you do this, or we should do this, or and it's like, I'm not ready for all that. And once she saw it, I'm gonna cut me off like that. I did beg, I try and enter the deal. Even when my life got together, I try to go back.
Nah, so no. Once they're done with
that
it,
wicked,
there was one in
for
Yankee
stuff for you guys, Sha.
Huh?
That wicked for asking stuff of you guys, knowing that they are the older people.
So you see the thing, and the
situation.
thing is that age is a number thing really is that way for them. Like they really see age as a number when
But
they
are
see
they
that.
wicked? Because I was going to say,
you're
are they
ticking
wicked
boxes.
though? Because it's like, low key, I'm not saying we should have everything at that age, but like, for them, they're seeing us in our 20s, mid-late 20s, and it's like, yeah, you should be able to.
There are some things that you're like, you know what I mean? All it takes is if you're ready, just be ready, and you should be able to do those things. And I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, all I'm thinking is, bro, there's actually one other babe I'm hoping that I can end up with, and it's not you. So,
Right.
Because sometimes I feel like us dating girls that are younger means you're sort of in control of the time.
Yeah.
So-
yeah,
to an
sort of,
extent,
Sort of like
sort
in your
control.
pace. Obviously, she
Yeah.
could do her own thing, but it's
Yeah.
like you're more in the control of the
Right,
pace.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So I guess age is really not just a number. We keep saying it
It's
is,
not
but
just
it's
a
really
number.
not just a number.
Yeah. It's not though, but me, I'm very in that.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely for age is just a number, but the dynamic when it comes to the reality is always very different. You guys
Yes,
have to
the
know
dynamic
that
when it comes to
age is just a
reality.
number to not let you guys start it off.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you guys get into it, the age will really become a significant factor
Mm-hmm.
as to whether you want to move forward with what you guys are doing or you want to just cut it off right there and then. And so, yeah, to be honest, like, because I'll give an example. If I'm seeing someone who is 19
Mm-hmm.
at my age, right? I'm 26, guys, by the way. I'm 26.
Stop this thing now. Somebody go.
So imagine me seeing a girl who's 19, right? Now, everyone would say that, oh, she's legal, she's this, blah, blah. Now, personally, for me, that's way too young, right? That's like young.
Yeah.
But some guys like them that young, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, for someone my age, seeing a girl of that age is only just a number when you guys want to start it off. But the minute you guys get into your dynamic, I'm sorry, but I'm in my early 30s. I'm hustling, like I'm trying to make that, legacy name that I know, okay, once I'm 40, 45, I'm not doing much anymore. You get?
That's
My
the
work
goal.
is just working for me. That's the goal, you get? And so there's this small girl that wants to go to club every weekend. And I'm just like, so you get what I'm saying? At that point, the age is no more just a number. It now becomes the actual determining factor because she's actually at the age where she should be enjoying her life. She's just starting off getting into streets. You've done all that, right? And so now you're looking at her like, this is your club. Don't you get tired?
Bro.
Every day club.
You
Especially
sound
now
like-
the dynamic
you
of
sound like a 30+ man right now.
no.
My
I'm
God.
paraphrasing. Okay,
No,
I'm just-
are you?
I'm paraphrasing. So now imagine in our time and age now. So come on, do TikTok with me. And I'm just like, at my age,
If a girl tells you to do that, you both of you, if your girl told you I want to do it to you, and now you
my
don't do
girl or a 19-year-old that I'm talking to, because now the context is
it. No, but you
19-year-old.
wouldn't want to do it with the 19-year-old because you don't want to show your face.
Not even. And why would I want to show my face? Because that's a smallie, and I'm at my big age.
Right.
You too, why you with her?
Exactly my point. So you see now that I'm not.
That's why one thing I realized, like, especially these young girls, like, it's now scary that we're now. If you look at us 10 years ago, you will see your OGs, older brothers, cousins that will now be hanging with the young girls that are now your friends, maybe younger than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you are those. We're those
We're
same
those-
guys right now.
No, it's crazy. It's crazy. What is you guys' cutoff age? Very honest.
Wow, see everybody just sighed.
Yikes.
To be honest, for me, I'll say like 23.
22,
23.
Because you had to have graduated.
Yeah.
Graduate.
22 is young, but I'm like,
Because if I look at it
but
now,
I'm with you.
that's
When
9
12
years.
is
Yeah, you have to have
22 is
graduated.
young, but I'm like, Okay, I would
Yeah.
let me hear what. Let's see. I'll be like, let's see.
I do a simple math. My brother, he has to be older. My brother is 21. The other one's 20, older than them.
Right.
Yeah, I think same for me. My brother's 21.
What
as
about
well,
you
so
guys?
anything-
Same?
Yeah, same 21. My brother's
Yeah,
21.
21,
If you're
22.
you're 21,
And you have to
how?
have finished school. Like,
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, mine is more of the context. I always tell people, I've always just been that day, like, with girls, it's more of who you are as a person. Like, I'm actually going to
Exactly.
have those conversations. I don't care how fine you are.
Yeah.
Let's have, because even some girls that are older and even our age, they are not as mature.
Did I say anything? I just made a face. I'm like, I'm agreeing with you, bro.
That face you made.
Yeah.
That face you made.
I'm
Anyways,
agreeing
next
with
one.
you.
Let's go
Yeah,
to the
so
next one.
so we got another question. So this one says it's from a Dara, and she just goes straight into it. He told me to stop talking to random guys. He got my WhatsApp fry as hell. I don't know what that means. Funniest part of it all, we don't have a picture together, and we almost.
Wait, start
we
from the beginning. Start from the beginning.
It's okay. So he told me to stop talking to random guys.
Mm-hmm.
He got my WhatsApp fry as I again. I don't know what that means. Fry as hell. Literally fry as hell. Don't know what that means. Probably a typo. Anyways, funniest part of it all is we don't have a picture together, and we've almost been 2 years.
Wow.
He used the other girl on all social media, even his OP account. I found out when he told me he's broke that I should send him money. The moment I saw her picture, I felt used and told him network is bad. I don't think he appreciated my existence in his life. Whenever he wants to talk to the girl, he will ask me to keep quiet. Not until I changed it for him. I really loved him. That's why I'm enduring all this. Don't judge me. Love can be stupid at times. I need your advice. You don't need our advice because you already know what you need to do, right? But we can definitely tell you that, I mean, own your mistakes, and it's good that you've accepted that love did make you do a few silly things, right? But I think we actually need to find a way
Love
to...
has never made me do something stupid that you go and tell me to keep quiet because
Oh, I'm not even
man.
gonna-
Am I mad?
No, me, I can relate, so I can't even...
That you kept quiet. That she. Oh, yeah. Damn.
Love
Let's not get into it. But anyways, yeah. So I've been there, and I know how manipulative it can be, especially if the person is either your first, second, like one of your early love experiences. What then happens is that these people are setting the standards, the benchmark for you. So say, for example, I've never dated anyone before, and then someone comes and starts gifting me the basic stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know that other people are enjoying this in their relationship. To me, this is nice. Like, someone is taking good care of me like this. And now, note that these are still, I don't know how old this person is, but, you know, if you feel this way about a guy, you're mostly in your stage where you're still formatting or you're still putting together your self-confidence, right? So you're still trying to build that esteem. You're still trying to feel like I'm this good looking.
That means she's young.
Exactly. So, you know, I mean, some people,
we could be wrong,
some people
but
that are
I
older
feel she may
still
be
struggle with that,
Yeah.
right? But you can just tell that, you know, she wanted to do whatever she could to appreciate this new love she's experiencing.
Fair.
Now, whether it comes with toxic sides or not, she's looking at a bigger picture in quotes of, okay, he's still coming back to me in the end. You know, stuff like that. And what then happens is you end up doing stupid shit. The person takes you for granted, takes you for a whole ride, and, you know, it ends up being a whole heartbreak roller coaster. I mean, it's when people around you start telling you, why are you taking this? Why you don't you know that I saw him with another girl? You know, that's when you start your senses start coming back, and you're like, wait, actually, you know
What's the most stupid thing you guys have done for a girl?
even the FBI can't get it out of me. I'm kidding. We'll share.
What's the stupidest thing you've ever done based off the love you have for a girl? Or you've tolerated?
What's the craziest thing I've tolerated? I mean, there was definitely one time, a long time ago.
As we like to say, disclaimer.
Yeah, long time.
Long time ago.
I feel like I knew she was still messing with her ex when we were giving them. And because I liked the babe so much, I just didn't even say anything. And to me,
Like
that's
you
crazy
saw
because
signs and stuff, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah. Like, not like she wasn't it wasn't like the way this one's saying, keep quiet, I'm talking to someone. But I just knew, like, you know, when you just know.
Yeah.
And as a guy,
usually when you know, you like, it's
bro,
facts.
and as a guy, the knowing is very hard because me, I never even know because I'm not checking. I'm too busy doing
so
my
for
own
you to
shit.
know,
So I
it
was
means
like,
it's come to you. Like
it has
damn.
come to me, and I was like, you know what? Man, that pussy too fire.
Yeah, I'm denying. You know what? It's cool. I'm just gonna turn it.
I have one to confess, and it's just because this guy's here. It just brought up a memory. But do you remember this guy's club? What's his name? The DJ that passed away.
Olu Liquid.
Olu, yes.
Liquid,
Do you remember that? His
Of
club,
course,
right?
yeah, we used to run those nights together.
That's why I said it's just because you're here. I'm going to bring it up now. So back in those days, that's when I first moved to Nigeria. I'm still getting myself. I was always out on streets. There was one girl I was talking to. She was one of those. I won't say industry based, but she was always with the musicians. All these every time.
She's an industry babe.
Industry babe. So we were
Exactly.
talking. We liked each other.
Yeah.
That's how I entered Liquid one day. And Liquid was always hard to enter.
Therefore,
like, get so
it
it's
was
packed.
crazy.
Finally, I've gone because she's the one that even told me to come. As soon as she saw me,
Liquid.
and I was in love with this girl. I would do anything for this girl. She left me right then. Saw a musician was walking out. I'm not gonna say his name. Saw him walking out. Ran to him. From there, my guy, they hold her like this. I'm just there. She now came back to me. Okay, so I'll see you later. I said that was like my billing, and that was right before uni when the globe started. Because at that point,
see, whenever you do that stupid shit, it's
bro,
because you're building
she
your
literally was holding
self-confidence.
the guy right left. He said, "Oh, hold on, came." And guess what? I was still the one trying to text her and call her after. Like,
Oh, yeah,
what's up, mama?
That's normal. So my own was actually a very long time ago. So this was still in the time when there was no. So the BlackBerry was just coming out, so you could tell then that still our parents were the ones having the BlackBerries. Then we still only had the Nokias. For those that had phones then, we only had the Nokias and stuff. And then it was texting.
You guys explain. You know, say you be millennial. Some people know.
Shit, God. Again, I'm 26. So I don't know what he's saying. Right? So, well, again, for context, there was a time in life when there were no. Well, they weren't smartphones. They were just like telephones, right? And the farthest you could go was SMSing, texting, right?
Yeah.
Well, there was multimedia messaging, but if you had the data for that, but it was mostly texting and phone calls. And so this was also the era of midnight calling and stuff like that. You want to get free calls that year, man. So anyways, this faithful summer period, I was in the UK. My ex-girlfriend at the time. Well, my girlfriend at the time, ex-girlfriend now. I was in the UK and, it was a family holiday. The whole family was in UK. My girlfriend at the time was back in Nigeria. And I'm sure if you guys can relate, you know how expensive it is to call. I had a T-Mobile line that I was calling direct. So a Nigeria number. So, but I mean, it was I was in love. I was like, you know what? This won't cost me nothing. I think I was spending like £10 per phone call. But I'm like, you know what? It's nothing. So there was this day that I went out, you know how the summer trips would be. You go out to, do all you have to do during the day.
Yeah.
Then nighttime is when you now want to settle down, call your people, those kind of things. So I got back around 11. I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna call her around 11:30ish. She was like, okay, you know what? Hold on, let me call her about 11:45 or 12. No, I call her at 12, and then it says call waiting. I'm like, okay, 12 a.m. And then next thing I then wait. I call again second time, still call waiting. Now, the boyfriend normally will feel like if you see my call, maybe you want to end that call and let me either know that you call me back or just end that call and talk to me. Anyways, I wait like 30 minutes. This is around 12:30. And then she calls back. And then she's like, oh, hey, yeah, sorry, I was on a call with this guy. Now, this guy, said guy, I'm not going to mention his name because I feel bitter for it anyway I see him. So he's like, oh, yeah, I'm on a call with this guy. And let me just quickly wrap up. We were talking about something important. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Understanding boyfriend. Cool, no worries. I was up 1:45, 1:15, 1:30.
You were in love, boy.
1:45.
Boy, God forbid.
She called me at 2:10. In fact, it was 2:12. Yes, that's how much.
The guy said,
Anyways, so anyway, she calls me and then she's like, yeah, hey, sorry, so I'm a little tired, so let's just talk tomorrow. I mean, guess who called her again in the morning? She gaslighted me and she was like, oh yeah, that she was talking to him, like they had things to talk about, that why am I making a big deal out of it? That it's just a phone call. I can talk to her anytime, that's but she wanted to spend her midnight calls talking to the guy.
Wow. Never. See, and some of you women don't realize you're the one that starts the villain in some of us men, but we're not going to blame you. We're going to take accountability for that. But again, thank you guys for sending your comments and questions. We appreciate it. So, real quick, as we jump in, TeeZee, question. You've been known for a while. A while. In fact, a funny story again. When I first came to Nigeria, I remember like I knew nothing of like the teenage urban culture, nothing.
Right.
I'm still rapping Yankee. Then I remember in high school, like the way I got popular was obviously like through sports and going around then. I remember people start talking about music and all that. So I remember like I would just be hating on Nigerian stuff at first. Like it was just Yankee. So I remember people like, yeah, you never heard of these rap groups around the city? Like who? Oh, there's LOS, there's DRB. All these people like what? Oh, DRB is London, LOS is Lagos. I'm like, who these niggas? But eventually, you wouldn't realize that even from then, all the concerts you guys used to do at Federal Palace, all these places, I was there. Same thing with LOS, I was there. And it's like the progression that you guys have made. First off, well done. But I'm sure you've gone through different journeys in that progression. So let's start with like the beginning. You took a chance with your boys and you formed DRB.
Yeah.
And I know DRB was very known in social spaces and all, but can you just quickly take us through that, like how it started and how you now built it to how you guys built it to have the platform that it has now?
I think with DRB, how it started, we were all in school. I was in school in Niger, right? And we were making jams, just chilling with my boys. BOG, there were some Green String boys, some Grange boys, some A-Hall boys, just young boys with there around where they make music now. You always know, they will say, oh, that guy is in that school, he raps, or that guy sings, that type of thing. Then I went to Jand, I moved to Jand. Then me and Fresh was actually my school son in Grange, but when we moved to Jand, we happened to go to the same school. Then Bodge came to the same school. So that's how, like, I always knew them from church, from just being mainland, from Bagada, Ilukbeju, all those kind of things. I knew of them, but we weren't guys. We now all went to the same school. So when we now got to school, there were some other boys, Tobena, Benzo. There was a good group of Niger guys who are all into music in our school in Jand. So as in naturally, like I said, we're the ones that were doing sports, we're doing all these things. So there was already like an affinity of like community within us before the music. Then obviously the next thing was, I think maybe that we started recording. That's when MacBook, that was the first year MacBook came out.
Right.
And on MacBook you could record jams
Right.
on MacBook. So our boy Benzo, who's actually the founder of DRB, shout out to Benzo, Tobena. He was like, yo guys, let's start this group and let's start making music and mixtape and just be putting stuff out. And we're like, why not fire? So we just started by like sharing the music for our guys from our former school, people in our current school. Then I think we might have sent it an email by mistake to, I'll say by mistake, we sent an email to Cool FM, someone, an OAP. We didn't even know. We're just like, hey, we saw this thing online, we sent it. Next thing you know, the first record that started going crazy was a song called Marry You. And that one was like just picking up. Yeah, that one was just picking up, doing our thing. Then, I mean, we just started evolving. I think like me, Bodge, and Fresh specifically were like, okay, us, our own piece, we were in Jando, but one an Afrobeats P, one an African P. I'm only repping Niger P. I'm not from London. I don't have blue passports, anything. I just live here for the time. My own P was always, as soon as Skinny was going, me and Bodge were like, we're getting the first flight back to Niger anytime there was an opportunity to go to Niger. That was how we always wanted to do our P. So, I mean, yeah, then it now became a youth culture thing in Niger, and we just continued pushing. It now became an Alté P, then you started seeing the rises of like Santi or Dunsi, SDC, everyone coming from a community of like guys that were doing a similar sound. And it was just a really crazy time, man. It was like young niggas doing that shit. It hadn't been done before like that, in Nigeria.
And that's one thing I was even going to ask. Or do you have
and it was a whole movement. Yeah, it was a whole movement because we're all the same age, right? So
it was
watching your guys do this thing, and it was like we were living through them because what was happening was the closest you could get to these guys was the same parties you guys would go to. Then it was still the time of 11:45, Vaults,
Untitled.
Do you get it? So there were lots of places that you guys knew that okay, you would see each other at party and stuff like that. But beyond that, our parents and other families would not even reason that we all want to go into music. So we were living through them. Yeah. It was like they were doing the things we all were just
everybody
hoping.
wants to be those.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And that's what I was even going to ask, because it's like, I know that's different, because coming from Yankee now, even teenage, everybody they rap.
Yeah,
exactly.
So even when I came to that, everybody was hyping it so much. I used to wonder why, until I realized, like, you're in Niger.
It was a culture thing.
How did you guys navigate that now, even with your families now, to really? Because again, you guys owned it early. You guys have even set a trend for a generation to say, okay, come out that comfort zone. So how did you guys navigate that with your families now to say, like, look, we want to do this? Because in the end, all of you went to school. Like, me and Fresh, I just went to Hall together. So it's like everybody still was in school, but still rapping full time. So how do you navigate that with your families?
It was difficult because, like I said, everyone, music is just in Nigeria at the time. Like, even if you are from any background, doing music was still just looked at down on. Like, the culture, the drugs, women partying, whatever stigma that was around music was a general consensus in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It don't even matter about your economic background, just like music.
Exactly. Have you finished
where
school
to
yet? You get
So,
it was always that,
I think the way we just managed this for the longest time was like, as I'm doing this music thing, I'll still be in school. So I didn't leave school to run music. So to them, I was like, it's your passion. They are coming to the shows, they're seeing 400-500 kids and 1,000 kids and 2,000. Like, okay, it's cute, but how serious can this be? Can this thing really make you guys real money? And what people didn't understand at the time is like, we're not doing this because of money. We're doing this because we were born to do this kind of
was
beat.
just already there.
That's just what we wanted to do. And some people had it different. Like, I feel like, I think Bodge's parents understood that was what he even went to. After we were in high school together or whatever, next thing he did, he went to like a specific music academy school thing. Bodge actually did that.
Right.
And with us, I'm obviously a bit older than them. I came back to Niger to do NYSC just like a year before any of the other guys came back. That was like a hard time because I was like the only Alté guy. I felt like I was like the only Alté.
You're so out of place. Everything was just
bro.
Where'd you do your NYSC?
In Lagos.
Oh,
in Lagos, luckily. No, but I went to camp in Ilesha.
Right.
One of those places, but I was in Lagos. So I think it was tough, but, man just had to weather the storm, all the artists. Because they knew, okay, in terms of swag, fashion, all this speed, they will know, say, okay, it's TeeZee and them, it's them Bodge and them that got this thing on lock. But it's that credibility of, like, taking us seriously as potential to be, like, break into mainstream.
Yeah.
People didn't want to give us that.
Yeah.
People didn't want to give us that. And because at that time, social media wasn't prevalent. I always say, me and Bodge always joke about it and Fresh, like, bro, if there was Snapchat and TikTok and Insta when we were doing what
it was
we were
just
doing,
a push now.
Do you know how
You will find your crowd.
Bro, do you know how I used to find out? It's so weird. Those parties back in the day, like every time you guys would promote your concerts or parties, it was either BBM days. That's when BBM started. That everybody would do it. You have to know the most popular girls will now be the ones to post it.
Yeah.
Like
every it wasn't about anybody. You see that DRB something MP3.
Yeah, literally.
So that's like, shit, what song is this? And then everybody wants to jump on that vibe. Yeah, so it was really crazy.
So I mean, what would you say was the moment that your families, even if it was then or now, that your family said, we're leaving you guys alone. We believe it.
I think it was a journey. I don't think it ever really stopped because the entertainment space and the space we're all in is still relatively new in our community. There's a disconnect, there's a lack of understanding, there's a lack of understanding of how you make money, there's a lack of understanding of the longevity of it, how long it will last, where it's at. So even till today, obviously my parents understand more. My parents, they're cool, they get it, thank God for them. But there's still a lot of questions. There's still a lot of,
are you sure still?
Because that's the generation they come from.
Yeah.
It's questioning anything they don't
fully understand.
Yeah,
and can't actually see transparency.
Exactly.
So let me ask this for both of you, for all of us even. So it's like, when all of us now, we're at the same age going through that journey with our parents. Either have you had that talk that you've had to establish, like, look, this is what I'm doing, that or are you guys still in that process of letting them know? Like we said in the last episode, I've sat my mom down. Before we used to fight. But now, because evidence don't show now, I sit her down to explain, look, this is what we're doing. Even if you're not saying this is it. And she's left me alone now. So what about you guys? Have you?
I mean, so I think in my own case, my dad is a cool G, right? So, I mean, he might be from their time, but he's very open to adapting to times as they go. He's always believed in, like, raw talent. If you have raw talent for something, just do your thing with that raw talent.
Yeah.
Let's see what it turns out to, right?
That's right.
So whatever industry that raw talent unfolds from never really matters to him, as long as he sees that there's talent. You can be an artist, maybe you realize that you're good at sculpting. Okay, start sculpting. Okay, maybe you said that you want to start doing pottery, you want to start making cups. His own is not whether it's something you're doing because there's money behind it. But if he sees you have the passion, you have the drive, and he sees the skill set is actually there, go with it. So I never really had any issues per se. Only thing about him is that...
What about Mumsy?
We'll get to her. So only thing I'll say about him is that he still always believed have that education as a backup, right? Because again, they're still coming from a time where education was the only way to really step into the world of making money and stuff like that, right? So they needed that to be their own duty. Let it be that they've sorted it out. They didn't want a case where they didn't put their own work in and then I'm now suffering for that, right? So in my mom's case, I mean, I think now she's, beginning to like, especially with the podcasting, right? She's beginning to, because even podcasting, they can't understand, like you mentioned, it's very key. They can't understand how this may generate money. Like, they're just thinking, you guys, okay, you are talking on the mic, okay, some of us are watching. Oh, how does this, is this worthwhile? Is this something you can use to raise your children? Stuff like that, So over time, I guess when they start, again now because social media is now really putting out there that you hear, 8-year-old YouTuber has made something $1 million. It's now waking people up to the fact that these things actually don't have to be things you have to understand. But they are just things that have a way of unfolding into success. So, I guess they're now just turning around to it. So, I mean, I would say that you have to give a lot of credit to a lot of Nigerian parents because it's not easy to have to, unlearn that. I mean, you're coming from a strict structure of you must go to primary school, then secondary school, then university.
Right, unlearn.
It's a lot. So I give it to the ones that are able to actually come out of that and, really give into the free will of let your children do what they want to do as long as they have their head on their shoulders and they know they have a plan. Let them do their thing. If they fail, they come back to you. You help them out, you teach them how to come out of that failure, come to the next one again. Because the truth is, we that are even doing this, we're not doing it because we're certain it's going to make money. We're doing it because there's the drive. We have the raw talent for it. It's already there. Let's see how far it's going to take us. So.
I'm about to say, even same question to you. I'm about to say, even with you, because you have your sister. Is she in the same? She's sort of like in the same industry. So I say your parents had to do with both of you guys.
Exactly.
Imagine, because they would be hoping, okay, at least one will be a doctor.
Exactly.
Now it's like, shit, both of them in the industry.
I mean, so for me, I think with my parents, the same thing you did, man. I had to sit them down early on to yarn them. And I think Nigerian parents as well, again, everything are doings. If the doings is showing somehow, or their friends have said, yes, so that Tenny is doing is wow. I just saw a billboard.
It just now start coming around.
Just alleviate some stress. So that's how it started happening. And my parents too, like they're very interesting in terms of their own work careers. Like my mom was in the corporate space for a long time. Then she now converted to an events planner. She was one of the first events planners in Lagos at the time. And at that time when she did that, people thought she was crazy for making that leap from having a proper job in a bank as a corporate company secretary in a corporate space to moving into doing events for planning parties and organizing parties with freelance work. So she understood the entrepreneurship from that level. My pops too is what's in Lagos. They say he's a businessman. It's like you're hustling. He's doing you do everything. You do everything. It's not an engineer. He's not a practicing engineer like a lawyer, a doctor. It's like he's doing business in whichever way you can. So he was never really like, oh, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's like whatever you're doing, just make sure you're working extra hard and you're making the effort to, make it generate income, support your lifestyle.
Right.
So I respect, and that's even like I said, even like moving forward, I realized like, especially because we're at that age now that we're going to start getting married, having kids, and all that is like, for me, I was telling like my friend even, I was like, when I have my kids, like, I'm not even going to be hard on them, but I'm going to be like on them.
Yeah.
So what that means is like not hard on them like in the way Nigerian parents are like, you will do this, like, okay, anything you're doing, you have to prove to me like you want to do this. Like even if it's a hobby, you say, show me that you want it, and I'm going to be there pushing you along with it and guiding you. But I'm not going to be attacking you on that one. Like I can't do that one.
I mean it's true. Well, to be honest, again, right? I keep saying that sometimes when we put ourselves in our parents' shoes, it's a lot easier to see from that perspective, because if you're pumping money into a child so that the child can be better at something, and then that child is now saying, no, it's football I want to do. There's a way you look at it from the
But then show me. But that's the difference. Like if they tell you that now, like when you guys, like you have a son now, and even we're going to even get to that, like how that's changed your perspective, because I can only imagine how it has. But it's like,
bro.
you see how your child comes to you to say that. I feel like now I'll be like, okay, I know I've been doing this, but like, I'll ask the questions I need to ask, because I've also been there.
Okay, well, yeah, there's that. Exactly,
and from there, like I say, if you show me you're serious, why can't I support you? Because at that young age, you're supposed to try everything. I feel like Nigerian parents, a lot of them didn't allow some of us to try different things.
It was the conditioning, man.
And that's why I say the
it was the
condition to actually
conditioning,
find yourselves. That's why we said a lot of us in Nigeria, we don't find ourselves to like our 20s.
Yeah.
Yep.
When you actually have that first freedom.
Yep.
In fact, you know what? That actually brings me to a very interesting question. So, like, about finding yourself now, right? I mean, you've been doing the music thing or just entertainment generally since high school, right?
Yeah.
Which is from like, talking ages of 13, 14 and till now, right? But at what point would you really say, oh, this is TeeZee, this is my identity? Let me give you an example. So of course, I've had so many hobbies, so many talents in my, lifetime. And so many times at certain stages, I'll think, oh, this is me. And then I give up that thing after a couple of months because it just wasn't feeling like me. Then I pick up something else and I'm like, oh, okay, this seems like it's me, right? And then I do that a few months again and I'm done. Now, what was it? Was it still the music, or was there something else that you did? It might not even be actual music production. It might even be something that has to do with a hobby. It might even be something that was a hobby that kind of complements your actual career. What was it that you did that you could say, okay, you know what? Right now, I feel the fulfillment of. I feel like I'm me right now. I feel like I'm doing what TeeZee is actually doing. Right? What stage would you say that was?
Ooh, nah, that's a good question on me. And like you said, bro, even though I was free creating and having an idea of what I wanted, Nigeria creates imposter syndrome for you. And like the fact
That's
of
exactly why I asked the question.
when you have that mindset of like unlimited potential and possibilities, and people are like
Caving in on you, yes. Yes.
So it took me a while though. It took me a while because I feel like in my heart of hearts I knew that I always wanted to do what I'm doing now when I was like 6, 7. When I actually believed it would start working, I was already like, I always thought, oh, there's a chance it could gel, but when I actually started believing it would actually manifest, because of all the pressures I was having, was maybe a couple of years into DRB, maybe even just maybe like my last few years in Jan, just before I moved back to Nigeria.
Okay.
And in terms of knowing that I'm TeeZee, bro, that one, like, it's so funny. I was having a convo with my friend the other day. I went through phases because I even went back to the corporate space when I first moved back and things weren't going the way I wanted. Yes, now NYC time, I worked at a record label with Chocolate City. Shout out to Odumodublvck. I was his assistant for like 6 months. So, and this is how full circle moments, right? I worked with Choc City when those guys were just popping with MI and Ice Prince and them. And I was shadowing the CEO.
Right.
But after a few months, I now went to go and do something else in oil trading, because oil and gas was always raining in Nigeria at the time.
Exactly.
And somehow I found myself in that space and I was depressed. And I went through a phase where, locking your Insta, I was even telling everybody, don't call me TeeZee anymore. You have to call me Tenny now. Don't call me TeeZee anymore. You go through those moments. And obviously after that, that's when I started doing brand ambassador stuff for Jameson.
Okay.
Maybe like a few months later, then I'm getting back into my groove, finding myself again, having that self-belief, getting that confidence back that, okay, the thing I know I'm supposed to do is what I am going to do from here on now till the day I die. And I must have been about 25 when that happened.
So you see so many stages of.
Yeah. I even have a question
I'm
on
a man,
one thing you just said.
Maybe I'm not a man. Maybe this is TeeZee. This is Tenny. This is TeeZee. This is Tenny. Until you now realize, you know what, this is TeeZee, and I want to keep that as TeeZee.
And you have to just own it. And
question. That thing you just said now about working in the brand, because I found out late you're the one that actually pushed Jameson.
Oh yeah.
How the fuck did you do that,
brother?
Because I remember when I came back to Niger from uni. That's why I've been in England. Came back. Everybody's talking about. She's like, "Yo, what's going on in Nigeria?" Like, yeah, everybody drinking Jameson. I just heard Jameson. So in my head, I'm just like, I didn't know. Like, you know what's so it's like? I tell people like maybe doing events the last 5 years here, so and I've learned more of the industry. But beforehand, I wouldn't know what's going on, and everybody would just tell me, like, again, I drink Jameson because of everybody now. But I remember people always say a name when they say TeeZee. It's like, I know that name from Rob, but was pushing. How the fuck did you do that?
Yes, so bro, that thing was just a combination of things. So this was like just that my NYC year between transitioning from doing the label, still making music, but working at a label. So imagine how frustrating that was. I was doing NYC,
you were seeing
working
the
at
things
a
that you
label,
should be doing, being in the
backdrop, at the backdrop. But when I was that age, it was frustrating for me. But now, all that, like, what, 9 years, like 6, 7 years later, I'm now
in that
record label
position,
CEO,
yeah.
and that is actually what was supposed to happen. So when I look back, I'm like, damn,
These were all just steps.
that's why all just steps. But with that Jameson one, it was after our Liquid night, so I was promoting our Liquid, doing all these small Alté nights, hip hop nights, just supporting younger acts that were coming up. And I think those guys heard about what we were doing at Liquid, and they were like, okay, this TeeZee guy, he has DRB, he has that creative background, that music background. Let's try him as the ambassador for Jameson. And to me, the first time I heard it, I was like, which one is Jameson now? Now nobody knows this bloody brand in Nigeria. How am I going to do it? And what I just started thinking is like, man, the guys I looked up to, like the people that inspired me were like them, Jay-Z, like P. Diddy, like, Pharrell, Dre. These are guys that blew brands from nothing.
Yeah.
Ciroc nobody was talking about drinking Ciroc.
Nobody,
So
yeah.
So Diddy came and took
Nobody.
over.
And I felt like, why can't I do this with Jameson? Because now, with a brand like that, big enough, believing that, okay, you're the guy that can help us change the direction or something. That small spark in self-belief that they gave me, it just like, it gave me a jetpack that they didn't even know. I'm sure they were not even sure, but that small belief
like,
they gave me, I was like, okay, I have to show these guys that I really have this youth culture P or whatever, community, or whatever it is, I have this P on lock. And we just started pushing that way, like, involved everyone from the Alté community, really brought those people out, whether it was the people I always mention, whether it's the STCs, Boja and Ajebota, Santi or Dunsi, Thames, those are like, there's a different world of stuff that's happening in Lagos outside of mainstream culture that was be done by Henny and Belvedere or whatever was going on. And from that, they just started seeing a community of people, young people grow. Because that time, I think the price of Henny also just changed. It went from maybe 30 to 45, 50. Now those things always happen.
Yeah.
So there was a space in the market to try something else.
Yeah, right.
And it just seemed like a cool alternative to what everyone else was doing.
So would you say that's when the business side of you now as a man like really came out? Because if you look forward now, you've not really, correct me if I'm wrong, you still do your music, but we've seen more of the business side of you. So would you say that's when that side really launched, or it was already there, or maybe there was something else after that now made you say, Omo, let me focus on this business more than the music?
Yeah, I think that was a pivotal moment. But like I said, the people, how I always saw myself in the music industry was someone that had that duality in terms of, I'm a full-on creative, but I can do the business.
Yeah.
Because even like before I did Jameson, we had already done about 3 DRB concerts in Federal Palace, in Harbour Point, in what's that other hotel, Intercontinental at the time. So in terms of doing the business, obviously I had business partners and stuff we were working with. In terms of doing business and knowing numbers and knowing all that stuff in the creative aspect, I'd been doing that. I'd been working with these artists without us having a team or whatever. We're doing all this stuff ourselves. So when it came to that Jameson moment, I was already doing that because I felt like in the music space, that is what sets me apart. I can be both. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. I mean, looking at what things have unfolded to now, now everybody, Odumodublvck is everybody's household name. Right? Now, would you say that, you had a talent for spotting people out, or it was just you heard a sound that resonated with your kind of vibe and you ran with it? Because, so his sound is different, right?
Yeah.
His sound is, he brings in streets, but at the same time in a way that the soft Alté listener wants to hear what he has to say, right? He has a good blend, right?
Yeah.
So, at what point did you think, okay, let me sign this guy on?
And before you even answer that question, I have one question to ask that's following part of that question. Do you remember that Jameson event we saw each other at in Abuja?
Yeah.
That I was hosting?
Crazy. That's the first time I saw Odumodublvck.
I knew it! I have peace of mind now. Because you know what I said? I remember that day because I was hosting that, and I remember like these guys came, so at least I have my Lagos guys here with me. Then this guy went on stage, Odumodublvck, I was like, yo, I like this. Like these are Abuja boys, they rap. And then I remember these guys now were there. Like a few months later, I started seeing them too. I'm just like, there's no way from this day this guy got in. So I have peace of mind now.
Okay, so that's one side answered. You definitely spotted him the day you guys spotted him. So how did you? So what was it about his sound? Because again, as much as it sounds peculiar, one thing about Alté sound is that it hardly blows mainstream.
Yeah.
And so even if you find sound that is nice,
Mm-hmm.
but then to sign them on is a whole different business thing. In fact,
Yeah,
that's what I'm getting to now.
exactly.
So what exactly what did you have to think through to say, okay, you know what, this guy ticks my boxes?
Yeah. I think the first thing that you actually mentioned is, I feel like one of my God-given talents is identifying like talent. It's one of the gifts that God gave me that I know now in my heart of hearts. I know.
That imposter syndrome conquered.
Ah,
I
no,
love
no.
it.
That one, even
Nice.
if it was football, I knew if bro, any artist that you can say, I knew when an artist was going to blow, an artist won't blow.
Right.
I can't write it down and give
You
you.
just know what you
Yeah.
know.
I just
Yeah.
know,
Right.
And with Odumodu, it was like, okay, I got this opportunity to start this record label with my partner Sheni,
Right.
and we had this JV with Def Jam. So I'm like, if we're coming out the gates, there's already this view of like the native guys that, you know how people look at hotel people, they think they're too cool, they're too this. I'm like, well, actually for everybody, but everybody doesn't like our people. And I'm sure you guys saw that at the beginning of Sunday at Tilashe. It's just like there's a stigma against some people, just like people don't want everyone to come into their space and win. So I knew that the first artist I signed to this label has to be someone that was going to have impact beyond just music. I felt like it needed someone that had a strong voice, something different, and an underdog. I think that underdog thing was something that I always really, I really always had affinity to. Right. So even though I was like popular in school and all these doing part, but I always still felt like as an underdog because I'm like, people want you to. People are watching to say, is this guy going to do it well or is he going to flop it?
So not that they already assume, he's already sorted, he's already that person.
There is that doubt.
So there's that doubt that they want, and sometimes people wanted to creep in, but I was like, no, like, and with me, self-belief and believing in people is like one of the biggest things, and that's what gingers me. And with me and OD, after I saw him perform, I didn't even have the record label situation by then.
Mad.
I just saw him perform that day for the first time. I was like, damn, these Abuja guys are on a different P. Because we came and we thought, DRB, who else was there?
It was you guys, Odumodu, his other guys that sang that left, right, side, song, his boys, Victoni.
Yes, Victoni
That's when
headline,
Victoni
right?
was. Yeah, Victoni was a headliner.
Yeah.
Then I think they had like 2 other Abuja artists. Yeah.
Okay.
So you guys were the only ones from Lagos.
Exactly. So, and I remember watching that whole show and I was like, not only did this guy have the best set, like the best reaction, there's something different in the energy when this guy is giving him. Like, he's commanding the crowd. It just felt so authentic, so real. And I'm like, this is what Nigeria needs. This is what the game needs right now.
Right.
The game is too soft. It's too sweet. Everything is, Afro pop now, money, babes, buying flowers. That's what the vibe is. It's like, if I want to enter this industry, we have to come with something that's left field, and that is not necessarily even Alté. It's just left from what everyone expects. Right. And I think around that same time, remember there was a time when Wizzy was like, Nigeria hip hop rapping is dead, denied. There was like a conversation. There was like a hip hop conversation, African hip hop conversation that was really brewing, and I was like, man, this is a good opportunity. And for me to like, when I study the game, I'm a student of the game, bro. I watch every hip hop documentary, every great. I've read that book. I study that shit. Phil Jackson, Kobe, anything about greatness, Tiger Woods. I always want to tap into the mindset of those people that I look up to. Like, what were these guys thinking about to make some certain moves? Right. And it was like the people that believe in you the most, those are the people that you need to ride for. That was a constant thread between all those things. They always had one mentor. There was always one person that believed in them so much that they knew they had to achieve. And I feel like me and Odumodu had that mutual thing because we reached out to each other at the same time. It wasn't even like I texted him to sign me like, Baba, how far? Or me, I want to deal with you. We want to work together. That's why we're just yanning.
The synergy was right.
It was like God sent us to each other. In fact, God sent us to each other.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And at the same time, like, bro, I'm about to start a label. You're the first person I'm going to sign. I don't know how much money I have now. I don't know any of the numbers, but I said, guy, we're going to run this P and trust me.
Later you guys have actually, because what I would say is the way you guys have done it is very unorthodox for starters, but it's like a new blueprint.
Yeah,
I call it a new blueprint because even already in this new rap game, you guys started with Lagos as everybody does, then they expanded to Nige. Then you already see like he's starting to get that international audience 100%. Of Nigerians that actually like the sound now. So even now, let me ask you a question: two things. Would you call yourself one of the pioneers of Alté? And number 2, what is Alté actually, in your own words?
Okay. I would say I feel like I'm amongst one of the pioneers of Alté. I'll give that one. There's a lot of people that were involved in the early stages of that thing. From I've said a lot of names today, Seth. Them
Yeah.
SDC.
Yeah,
I always
yeah,
give Palm
yeah.
Wine Music Crew, Palm Wine
Yeah.
Boys. Shout out to Tech and Ghost. Those were guys that were in there early, and obviously my brothers Bodge and Fresh. There was now after us. It was now them. Santi, all this, Odunsi, then and there were some other people that they. So I'll say we're amongst the pioneers of it.
Right.
What's the second question? I've already forgotten.
What would you say is Alté? You know how there's always these different definitions of Alté.
There
Everybody
is,
wants to, but it's like,
There
what is it actually?
I'll say Alté is like a way of life. I think it's like a lifestyle. It's like it's just a way of being. It's something that's like different from the norm. Something that's just like alternative to the mainstream. So, and I think what confused people before is like alternative abroad means it's a
Like
different
defiant,
sound.
someone like you're almost against,
Exactly.
as opposed to just a second option.
Exactly, as opposed to just a
Fair.
second option.
That's
It's
a good
just
example.
different.
Because
It's not
now that you say it, because
Yeah.
that's literally from when we were younger, everybody's like, the difference, rebel.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
it's like,
Yeah, it's
it's
just like-
not necessarily
Exactly.
It's
that.
just not
Yeah.
what the normal P's will do.
Yeah.
Everything we do will be left.
Because even from the music to the fashion, it's another. And the reason why, so I liked Alté from the beginning. Right now, one thing about the Alté movement is that I felt like there were two kinds of people. There were the ones who didn't understand it but wanted to be part of it.
Yeah.
There were the ones who understood it but didn't think they could be a part of it. I was in the latter. I felt like I just didn't fit into the fashion part of Alté per se, but I liked the sound. I liked to see the fashion. Might not have to be the fashion, right? But I like to see it on other people. I like to see, like when people pulled it off, I loved it. Didn't necessarily mean that I could, right? Then there were the people who didn't understand it but wanted to go with the trend because the trend looked cool to other people, right? So there was a lot of dilution in what Alté meant at the time, and so that's when it became, because the fashion looks like what should not be allowed.
Yeah.
Only
Especially
because
in the Nigerian
exactly, but that's
environment
only
where-
because society has already told you what is allowed. They tell you, okay, wear shirt and trouser, but don't wear the trouser that will be too. Don't wear the shirt that will be too. Don't wear the skirt that will be too. So when you're now doing what the society is saying you shouldn't, which is supposed to be a second option, not the opposing option,
If
then
you
it now,
didn't say
it now
the
looks
second
like,
option thing to me, so I was thinking it was different this whole time. But it's like, wow,
it's
it is
just a
actually
second
an
option.
alternative.
It's
So I mean,
just a second option.
let's go one more question before we go. Like, so now that you're a father now, first off, what has that been like, and what has that? In fact, what has that transition been in terms of from being a young father, finding out, then actually seeing your son, then moving forward now that he's growing with you in your own journey too? How has those stages been?
Oh my guys, that's been the best time of my life. Oh God,
You look happy.
Sweet. As you see, I'm smiling. I can't even stop smiling. Like that shit just really like changed my whole P. Like the boy gives me joy, man. That's all I can say.
So
like,
would you say it gives you joy? Do you think you see yourself in him, or do you think you just see a different person in him completely?
I see,
Because there's joy in both.
yeah.
So it depends.
I see myself in him. There's similarities, but that thing I also see him as his own person. So
Right.
just when you guys born, the endorphins that you get when you just see something that you gave birth to that's just developed. Sometimes I'm just watching this guy like, guy, you're 2 taps, bro. You're next up, Zaki.
Right.
But it's like
That makes sense.
it was just
So I
good
mean,
for
just around the question of the kids before I round up. So would you say that because you've had some decisions, even career-wise, that you've made before you had your son, right?
Yep.
Would you say that having your son may need you to change a few things because it may involve maybe spending less time with him, or it may involve it may just involve something that will compromise your relationship with him? Do you think that there's some music decisions now, or just career decisions, that you've had to alter a little bit, or that you might have to alter because you now have a son?
And that's why life is all about balance, because the one thing that we can't do is, because we're young men, we can't compromise the dream and the mission to do what we need to do
Right.
because of some new stuff that come into your life.
Right.
You make those things just work within your ecosystem. You create a universe where all those things work. And you know how kids are. It's fun now. Yeah, he can now turn into a teenager and like, Daddy, fuck you. Not F you, because I'll whoop your ass. But like, you can eventually now, you always go through those phases.
Yeah.
And I think just being mentally prepared for like everything to happen is just the best part. But me, I would definitely want to have the most amazing relationship with my son is like the most important thing to me. And at the same time, I want my career to continue taking off because our parents too, they worked a lot now.
Yeah,
For
and
our
they
parents
still
to be
kind of
successful, they
manage.
still
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
You just have to manage.
Yeah.
Just balance. It's hard, though, guy.
Yeah.
I can't cap. It's like the hardest P, but what you want to do?
As
Now?
in, even
Right.
because even seeing, it's like I always joke and say when I see all my friends that have kids now, even it's like I always ask the question how. Because even in America, like, because you know what's funny, like in Nigeria, you don't actually, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't see a lot of as many young parents as you would in like America
Of course
now.
not. Of course
You
not.
understand?
Yeah.
So even when I see young parents in Nigeria, I'm just like,
Yeah.
like, you're doing it?
Yeah.
But then it's like, wait, if you're doing it, that means it is possible. It's not easy.
It's not
I
easy,
can't imagine.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's what I
it's
said.
not
Like, how old is your son now?
He's 2.
How That's terrible Tuesday.
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad. I mean, bro, trust me, bro. Before I had a kid, so I was like, it's impossible. How can it? You can't even fathom it. You can't even process it.
Yeah.
Before you had a
happens.
kid, would you say, what did you want, a boy? I mean, obviously you're satisfied with whatever God gives you, but beforehand, did you want a boy or
Did you
girl?
have any expectations of like, okay, you know what,
I
I'm already
thought-
working towards that?
Initially just girl, dad, all those things. So I thought I wanted a girl, just because of that. Oh, girl, dad thing. But closer to the time, like anyone is good vibes. So in my head, in the early stages of the pregnancy, I was like, yeah, I hope it's a girl. But by the time he was about to pop, I was like, yeah, whoever comes, that's the person that I need to give my everything to. So
I have one last thing though. Did you have to go back to your dad for a few tips? Like, okay, so we've never had this kind of discussion
See your
before.
grandson.
Like, give me some free game here. Like, let me something. Like, so I don't know anything about kids. How far did you guys? Did you have to do any of that?
yeah, I did to an extent, and because like we always say, our parents come from a different generation, so
Yeah.
even how we grew up with pop still was different. So, I'm like,
different.
So like, you know what? Don't give me your own.
No,
Just
no, no,
some things from
yeah,
it, but not your own in particular.
honestly.
Right?
So I definitely reached out. I reached out to him, and he had some good advice, patience, all those small things. But
Right.
you always see your parents, and that's the way they are with your kids. You be like, guy, why didn't you run this P for me?
I was
You know,
just
that's
about
how they all
to
are.
saying, you see the
They
same
love their
with your
they love their
son?
grandchildren more than their children.
Oh yeah,
For sure,
always,
for sure.
always.
So you can see
Always.
he's definitely a lot different with your son compared to...
He's obsessed with him. He's obsessed with him. And they're older, so they just know times that it's
Yeah,
a
so
different
it's like
feeling.
it's like almost every moment, just soak it all in. Happy to see the boy. Just
Yep.
they wouldn't be telling you then, please, whatever he wants to do, just allow him to do it. And
It's
you'd be
the
like,
grandparents that
and you'd be
spoil
like,
the
from
children,
you,
yes,
from you.
yeah. It's the grandparents that spoil your children for
Yeah.
you. Anything that happens to grandpas, they can do anything. That's why I want to go to grandpa's house. Ice cream is not allowed. All this stuff. So
Right.
anytime it's there, it's just having a blast.
Right.
Well, respect
Well,
that, man. Well,
I
thank
mean,
you, man.
this was great, man. If they leave us, there are so many questions we want to unfold.
It's that
Yeah,
time, but it's like we've learned a
But
lot
yeah,
now. But
yeah.
appreciate you for coming through. And again, you guys that are watching, make sure you subscribe to all our audio platforms. So all we always do to end is self plugs. Like, again, what do you have coming? What do you want to plug out there? What's coming in December?
Okay. December is going to be special. We're working on a few things at Native and Native Records. Native Land Festival back December 22nd. Street Souk, Streetwear Convention, 16th and 17th of December. Biggest streetwear convention in Africa right now. So if you want to buy your December buffs, pull up.
Right.
And Odumodublvck Deluxe dropping on December 1st. Mind-blowing, game-changing music, man. So that's what we're trying to do at Native. We're just trying to change the game and just like approach it in a very different way, Just like you see the energy. We're trying to come like Tupac. We're trying to come like Skepta. We're trying to just bring a different. And you've already seen our P now.
Yeah.
But we're doing it for niggas like us. And
Yeah.
girlies like us. We're doing it for the
Yeah.
people that they always wanted to push to the side, but somehow find their way into the place. And people are annoyed, but it will match their heads.
So what's a quick question for the future artists or younger artists that are listening that want to get signed? Are you guys going to be looking to add more to your roster, or right now your focus is just pushing Odumodu?
Oh no, we're gonna add more artists to our roster for sure. I think 2024 will be an exciting year for that, male and female. I think me specifically, I'm really looking for a dope young female act in 2024 to work with. There's actually someone I work with right now, Brazy.
I love. Do you know what's
Brazy
funny?
is
I
special.
never knew. I just heard that in a TikTok.
Yes.
I just went. I say,
yes,
who is
yes.
this one again?
All right, upcoming.
Brazy, watch out for her. She's super special. And yeah, man, there's gonna be. Well, we start on unraveling new people on our roster next year.
Cool. So, I mean, where can they find you and Native on the socials? So, your socials and their Native socials.
Yeah. You can find me on IG, TeeZee, TeeZee. You can find me on Twitter, TeeZee DRB. And you can find me on TikTok. That's
my guy actually, no, he's not one of those. He's actually been posting. I'll give him his credit. I'll give you your credit. You've been posting.
It's because of this madman here.
You've been doing well.
On TikTok, TeeZee Bryce. So yeah, that's where you can find us.
Cool,
all right, guys. Until next time, we appreciate you guys. I'm Michael Scenario,
and I'm Moro Welcome,
and we will see you guys next time on Menisms.
Right.
Menisms, Eminem. Michael and
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Wanted to do this for a while now.